Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Jasenia, and today I want to talk about some different signs and symptoms, maybe behaviors that are associated with bipolar disorder that are less common or maybe just not heard of. But these are all some that I personally have felt or experienced or done, and other people with this disorder as well that I've talked with, and also other YouTubers that I have seen talk about feeling this certain way as well. So I have a long list, but I am just gonna make multiple parts because I feel like shorter videos are better. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So number one is you don't need sleep to function. And this is mostly when you are in hypomania or mania. You can go 2 to 3, maybe 4 days without sleeping at all, and you don't get tired and you don't feel the need to sleep, and sleeping almost feels like a waste of time actually. And not only that, but you also can maybe sleep 2 to 3 hours a night, and then the next morning wake up feeling fully rested and feel like you had a full night's rest. And you don't need coffee, you're just energized, you're just up, and you're ready to go. So you don't need sleep to function, or very little sleep. And this comes in waves. Not only you don't need sleep to function, but I would say more sleep irregularities. So if you sometimes sleep, just a few hours and you're totally fine, and other times you need like 10, 12, 13 hours to sleep, this happens in depression. Or not. Another thing is you could have times throughout the night where you're up like for 2 hours, or you're up just for a little bit and then you go back to sleep, and you just wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, and you just have a really messed up sleep pattern. That is a huge sign for bipolar disorder. We do not sleep well. Well, I don't know about all, but all the ones that I have been on, antipsychotics, they make you tired, and you take them at night. Well, at least I do take them at night because they make you drowsy, and that's because we're just so amped up most of the time. And yeah, a lot of people, myself included, when I was fully going full blown manic, I needed sleep medication. But yeah, we don't sleep well, so yeah. And you are an empath. You are extremely empathetic to others. You can really identify with other people's emotions and feel them with them, so much so that it can even be, painful and draining to us, because if you're an empath, you really want to help, and sometimes you can't help and you can't do anything about it, and that really sucks, and that really drains you if you're an empath. And you also can easily identify other people's emotions. Like if their energy is off, you can tell that they're not feeling okay or something's going on. And even if they're smiling and acting cheerful, sometimes you can even see through that, and you can tell that something else is wrong, and they're not feeling well deep inside. And oftentimes I will say something. I'll talk to somebody on the side and be like, what's going on? But and yeah, you're just really in tune with your emotions, with other people's emotions. You feel really, really deeply. And sometimes being around large crowds can really drain you. Other times you feel okay enough to be around others. No, it's just, anyway, it's a lot. So you are super creative. You probably get into different phases where you have sparks of creativity, where you all of a sudden want to paint, or you decide that I can't even think of good examples. Maybe like I painted all those frames and painted other frames in the house, and I you have so many ideas. You want to write poetry, you want to learn a new language. I was getting all tongue tied up right there. Still am. And actually, I am going hypomanic. I should have said that when I was talking about the sleep, because literally last night I did not go to bed till 5 a.m. So I am definitely going manic. So yeah, again, you're super creative. Maybe you're a dancer and come up with all these dance routines. You do the choreography. Maybe you write music. You, yeah, you're just super creative. And there is a lot of bipolar celebrities, like actresses, actors, musicians that are bipolar artists. And that's just because there's a huge spike in creativity with those of us with bipolar. And I'm not saying that all of us by any means are super gifted or anything like that. I'm just saying if you're really creative and the creativity kind of comes in different spikes, and yeah, if you're creative along with some of these other things, watch out. And number 4, I think, you have been diagnosed with either depression or anxiety, some kind of anxiety disorder, or ADHD. And that is because a lot of people don't have their first manic episode till later in life. So a lot of us with bipolar disorder will have depressive episodes, and that, can look like just depression. Not just depression, that's not what I meant, but it can look like depression and not bipolar, even though bipolar, one of the main things is depression. And also the anxiety, because you have a lot of anxiety if you have bipolar disorder, and there's a lot of overlap. So the ADHD is not encompassed in bipolar, but what there is there's a lot of similarities. There's impulsivity, there's a depression, the anxiety, the lack of focus, the hyperactivity. Yeah, there's just a lot of overlap. So it could be that you've been diagnosed with, either one of those things or something else, and you're not responding to treatment. And maybe you're even worse. So if you're not responding, maybe that's because you actually have something else and not one of those. And, oh, what I wanted to say is depression medications can actually make a person with bipolar disorder way worse. It can send us into a manic episode, it can send us into a mixed episode, and it can make you rapid cycle. Yeah, it just really destabilizes you. Yeah. Antidepressants without the proper, supervision of a psychiatrist, with probably paired up with other bipolar medications, is just a bad idea. For example, I went to my doctor a couple years ago when I was depressed and I was really struggling, and she put me on Prozac, and that was bad. It made me rapid cycle like crazy, and that's actually kind of when I knew I was kind of going towards when I knew I was bipolar, because I was like, what's going on? But so what happened was Friday, I was like hypomanic, kind of high energy, feeling like dancing, wanting to listen to music, feeling just really up. And the next day I was full blown manic, not sleeping, not just really jittery, really anxious, really irritable, just manic. And then Sunday came around and I started to crash. My mood was lower. I wasn't hungry. I didn't really feel like talking. I didn't want to do anything. And then Monday came around and I was full blown depressed. Just full blown depressed. And so, within the span of a couple days, I, did a full cycle. So it can make you worse. So anyway. I feel like I'm really scatterbrained, and I already took an anxiety pill to try to chill out to do this, but like I said, I'm going hypomanic and my mind is kind of racing a little bit, and it's really loud in there, and I'm trying really hard to focus, but yeah, it's tough. Anyway, and I've also said that so many times, I can't, whatever. Going back to depression, you had your first depressive episode before the age of 20. So you might have been depressed multiple times in your life before the age of 20 and might have not had a manic episode yet. Some people don't have them till way later in life. Some people only have like one manic episode. And, everybody with bipolar disorder is different. But, yeah, people with depression sometimes, not always, there's always exceptions, but sometimes those with people with depression can go up to like their 30s, maybe even 40s without having their first depressive episode, versus somebody with bipolar, you likely have had yours before the age of 20. So, yeah. Sometimes you can talk to anyone and everyone, and you have so much to say, and you have so much energy, and you almost don't let other people get a word in, because that's actually a sign of mania. You talk so much and talk over others because you're just really, really, really fast, and everybody else is talking slow motion to you, even though it's not, obviously. Everything is just sped up. But you can talk to anyone, and other times you can't talk to anyone. You have nothing to say, nothing to add to conversation. You're not even really thinking about what people are saying. You can't even talk to your husband, your best friend, your parents. You just struggle. You struggle to make conversation, or even, but even care about it. So, yeah, if you can talk to people at different times more than others, and you get into different phases, then that could be a sign to look out for. And you're super sensitive to energies. So I'll put that in the next video because I want to elaborate more on that. But let's see, you're incredibly intuitive. So you probably have a really strong intuition. Likely you've probably guessed something correctly, and you feel something in your gut and you follow it, and it's true, or that is the best move most of the time. And maybe you've even tested your intuition on like different tests and quizzes and stuff like that. Anyway, maybe even have dreams where you have something. I can't talk, you guys. Maybe you even have dreams that come true, or you feel like they're kind of premonitions or something like that. But yeah, you get into phases. So this happens again in mania. You get into phases. Like one manic episode, I decided I wanted to paint everything. I've done that multiple times, but wanted to paint everything. And sometimes people will want to learn a new hobby, like playing the ukulele or roller skating or learning a new language or anything like that. You get into phases and you get super into that, and you want to do that all the time. And you research that topic or you research that thing for hours and hours and hours, and you're hyper focused on that, and you don't even realize it. You could be working on a project for hours and hours and hours and not even realize that it got dark outside. So you get into different phases where you're really super into something, and oftentimes when the episode's over, your interest kind of dwindles, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but But other times they actually stick, because they're not all bad. Some of them are great ideas. So for example, one manic episode I decided that I needed to start meditating, and I kept with that. I still do it to this day. I love it. I have gotten better at it. And yeah, that came from a manic episode where I just decided that I needed to meditate, and I needed to, yeah. Anyway, you feel like you have to do things when you're manic. So you feel like 3 different people at times. And that sounds crazy, but it's true. And bipolar disorder can often be mistaken for a personality disorder, because it can seem like that when really it's just a person going through different episodes. But the reason I say that is because when I'm depressed, or when I'm manic, or when I'm baseline and feeling like myself, I feel differently and do different behaviors and interact differently with people if I'm manic versus if I'm manic. I suddenly want to reach out to people that I haven't talked to in a while, and I just want to talk to anyone and everyone. And then sometimes that dwindles, and then you're really uncomfortable around others when you're manic. But at first you could be really chatty and just all energized. And other times when you're depressed, you can't really talk to anyone. You isolate, you don't interact with others. You have different behaviors and symptoms depending on where you're at mentally. So, and I actually catch myself saying we a lot when I'm talking about myself. And I don't even mean to do this. It just happens because, like I said, I feel differently when I am in different episodes. So sometimes I say we when talking about myself, and yeah, that's funny. But you guys, I'm having such a hard time keeping track of my thoughts because my mind is so loud. And you know what? I'm just gonna do one more because I can't chill out. You know something is different in you, and you don't know what it is because there's so much. You can't pinpoint just one thing. You know, you feel anxiety, you feel depression, you feel nauseous, you feel so many things, and it's hard to pinpoint just one thing. So you don't know what's wrong with you, and you often question, what is wrong with me? Like what's going on? And that could be bipolar disorder, because bipolar is kind of an umbrella that has all of those things under it. And yeah, so I think that's it for now. I want to thank you guys for watching this, and I hope that you guys have a really good day. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.